Welcome back to Share the Pants. Today, we're taking you back to where it all started, the very beginning of our love story. So grab a drink, get comfy as we relive some of our favorite moments from our first encounter on Bumble and our first date. And you better buckle up your seatbelt because we are some sappy, sentimental people. And some of this might make you want to vomit. So we met on Bumble, and because women message first on Bumble, I sent the first message to Joel, and I kept it really simple. I just sent him a little jiffy that was of Kelly Kapowski waving hello.
Mm-hmm. And I waved back or gave her a Zach Morris gif back.
Yep.
Going, ooh.
Which I was like, swoon. Oh my God. I was so excited because...
One of the greatest couples of our generation.
Exactly. And the fact that you just matched my energy, right? Like, It was like a gif for gif or gif for gif. However, I don't know how the fuck you're supposed to say that.
I say gif.
You say gif?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. And that's probably right.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, either way, I was like... I like this guy. Like from that was my very first impression of you, and I was super impressed. And then he followed it up with...
Yeah, we started talking about the Avett Brothers, which was on her profile.
It's my favorite band.
So yeah, that's my move. That's one of the reasons why I swiped on her in the first place. But one of the many reasons. But yeah, you find something on their profile that's of a common interest and start talking about that.
Which is a great move, guys. Do that.
Yeah. So we started talking about that. We both have my dad and her grandpa. We both have they've both passed away, and we both have a song from them that is very sentimental and reminds us of them a lot. It's almost like they wrote it for us. Like It's insane. And so we saved those stories for the first date.
So Joel was telling me songs that he likes from the Avett Brothers, kind of to prove, I really know who this band is.
I'm a fan. I'm not just saying this to... Yeah. I know the deep cuts.
Yeah. And one of the songs you mentioned was the song that we played at my grandpa's funeral. Yeah. And so I was like... I didn't want to talk about it in person, but I used a technique. So I was not a dating coach when Joel and I met. I was a life coach, but I was following other dating coaches, taking tips, that I could use. And Matthew Hussey's one of my favorite dating coaches out there. And he teaches something for women to help inspire a man or let him know that you want him to ask you out. And he calls it dropping a hanky. So back in the olden days, women would, in the 1800s, they would drop their handkerchief. And that was their signal, like, somebody come rescue me, and a man would come pick it up for her. And that's how they would start talking or whatever. So I said something along the lines of, there's a lot more to that story, but I'll save it for if we ever go to dinner or something like that. I don't remember. I wish I had screenshots of our first Bumble.
Yeah. Well, also little did she know that I was about to ask her out on a date anyway, so it kind of stole my thunder a little bit. I was like, really?
I might have
now it feels like I'm just doing this because you said that, but no.
So I might have dropped the hanky just a little too soon. But I was like, okay, if you are going to reply to me with a Zach Morris gif and talk about the Avett Brothers to me, I don't need to know anymore. Let's get on a date.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I was in the same boat too. I was almost there.
Yeah.
Just about to do it, just about to pull the trigger. But anyway, so we set up a dinner date downtown. This is my big mistake that I made going in was I was so mad at myself. I was on call that weekend for my job, and I was just, I set up the date anyways, and I was like, surely nothing's going to come up. And sure enough, middle of the afternoon, the date's at 6 or something, and I get a call at 2:00, and I've got to go do something a little bit out of town, not too far, but I was like, man, crap. You never know how long these are going to take. So I had to call her, text her, message her on Bumble at the time.
Yeah, he didn't have my phone number yet.
And I was like, hey, can we not reschedule, but can we postpone just a little bit? I don't know how. And it ended up being about 30 minutes later than it said. And thankfully I was able to call back, make a reservation. But yeah, I was so mad. It's not who I am. It's like, this is a girl that I was really trying to impress. And yeah.
And you were afraid you were going to come off flaky.
Yeah, flaky, like right off the bat. I was like, I'm on time. Like, I'm an on time person. Like, this is not me.
Yeah. And I did have a moment of, ugh, you know, like, oh my God. Because I had planned my day out strategically because I live in Edmond, which is just like a little north of Oklahoma City where we were meeting. So, but I had to be in Oklahoma City for something else. And so I'd like timed it out to where I would be able to go to the city and stay in the city. And so you saying like, hey, can we push it back later? I was like, oh, that fucks my whole day, you know, like, but we worked it out. And because the chat had been so strong and the first impression had been so strong, you know, I wasn't going to let it destroy the date. Like, if it had been with somebody I was kind of meh on, I might have been like, fuck this guy. Yeah. But, you know, you had put in enough.
Yeah. Well, and you did say, well, is it okay if we move it to Edmond?
Yeah. And you were like, sure.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, absolutely. If you know, tell me a place and we'll meet there.
Yeah.
But yeah. So thankfully she was still, and she was like, no, it's, you know, cause it wasn't that much later. She's like, I'm actually still in town. So I called the restaurant, made a new reservation, and thankfully they had one. And so we met
downtown at Bourbon Street, which is a nice little, it's like, what's it called? Like a jazz, like Cajun jazz club type of thing. And one of the things I remember really distinctly,
it's a nice restaurant.
It's a very nice restaurant. Yeah. Is that, so it's on a canal in downtown Oklahoma City. We have like a canal that runs through the city. And to get to the restaurant, you have to walk down a set of stairs to the like lobby of the restaurant. And I remember it feeling like a movie moment because I was wearing a dress and I was coming down this staircase and I saw you like across the room and we made eye contact and we kind of had that moment of like, is that you? Is that you? Like, you know, yep. And before I made it to the bottom of the stairs, you were already walking toward me. And I remember like my heart like being like like just stopping. Like this man was like coming towards me and it felt like this like magical moment. I have chills talking about it. I had chills then. And it's funny, I like think about that moment a lot and I'm like, why did that like mean so much to me? And I realized it's because I'd been on so many dates and shown up so many times to the lobby of a restaurant and a man has let me walk to him 90% of the time. Like, it was so unusual because nobody else had done that I was like, whoa, like this guy is the real deal.
It was unconscious. I didn't even know that I did that.
Yeah. Well, because you're like a gentleman at heart. Like you actually, chivalry lives inside of you. It's not something you perform, which is a miracle and beautiful. And I love it.
Yeah.
And I'm so lucky. But like that one little thing, that was the first thing.
Yeah.
And then our table wasn't quite ready, so we were kind of standing there, and there was a live band playing, which I don't think you expected there to be. And so he was almost a little apologetic, like, I thought we were going to have a quieter, you know, like he'd been really intentional about choosing the restaurant, but it actually worked in our favor because the next thing that happened is we were standing there waiting for our table, and Joel is just like dancing. Like he didn't even know he was doing that either, but he was just like grooving to this band that was playing.
I can't help it. I'm like Baloo the bear. He's my spirit animal when it comes to music.
That's right.
Yeah. He hears a beat. It's just nothing you can do.
Feet. Yep. And I was like, I instantly felt at ease. I instantly felt comfortable. I was like, this is my type of dude. Like if he can boogie in public and not care when anybody thinks. Like so many people are shy about dancing, you know, and I'm not. I'm a dancer. I love to dance. And so I was just like, oh yeah, this is going to be good.
Yeah. So we get sat, order a bottle of wine. Which I asked, is that okay?
Yeah. And I was like, good move. Another check. Order a bottle of wine for the table.
That's right.
Which also let me know you weren't in a big hurry, that you weren't cheap. Like, you know, it was
all intentional.
Yeah. And we got into it. We just started talking. One of the things, I don't know if you know this, maybe you do. I don't know if I've told you before, or if I said anything at the restaurant, but one of the things that was like a sign to me on our first date, because I'm a big sign person, like I love coincidences and signs from the universe, but the other song that was played at my grandpa's funeral is What a Wonderful World by Louis Armstrong, and the band played that right as we were sitting down, and I was like, I was going to tell you the story about my grandpa's song from the Avett Brothers, and here the other song is playing. And I was just like, this is fucking weird.
Yeah.
So we got to talking about, I think we did some small talk before we jumped into the Avett Brothers conversation.
Right.
But I shared more about that moment. There was a big, this song that we played at my grandpa's funeral. My grandfather died the day I had tickets to an Avett show. He died in the morning, and I went ahead and made the decision to go to the concert that night. And I'd heard the song for the first time ever, was their encore. It's called No Hard Feelings. And I mean, I just bawled my eyes out, and we played that at his funeral. And so I told Joel that story. Mm-hmm. And then I think we kind of moved on.
Yeah. Well, I told you, the story about Through My Prayers, another song that reminds me of my dad. It's almost, like I said, it's almost like they wrote it through my eyes. We weren't in the best place at the time. And the chorus is, I just want to tell you I care. So it's, hits me every time.
Yep. So talking about our past loved ones and meaningful songs and we were emotionally connected in, already in that moment. Just how can you not connect to somebody that you share so much of that in common with?
Right.
But we at some point we had let, that conversation was over. We'd moved on. And I know how it happened, because Joel was asking me about my job. And the first time he asked me, he's like, so what do you actually, I don't even know what was written on my profile, probably just coach. And you were like, well, so what do you actually do? And I gave him some vanilla answer that he kept asking, no, but what do you actually do?
I was genuinely curious.
Yeah.
What
does that mean?
What does a coach do?
Yeah. And it's so, I feel like it's hard to, it's always been hard for me to explain to other people.
Yeah.
But because he asked me a couple of times, and I didn't feel like he was letting me get away with a surface level answer,
right.
I just blurted out, well, I'm psychic, and I use my psychic ability to see what people need, and I help them get it. And he was just like, the look on his face, I was like, oh, fuck, I'm not going to get a second date. I've just freaked this person out. And I am usually very intentional about not using the word psychic on a first date, because I know that can be a shocker.
Yeah, and it was.
And so I don't, it just flew out of my mouth. But it also because you had pressed me, and I was like, I don't know how to say it any other way, And then, so you were telling me a story that brought up the Ellie story.
Right. Well, first of all, when she said she was a psychic, my jaw about hit the floor. I gave her I was mid-bite. I stared at her. I was like, okay, this, it doesn't, I don't necessarily, at the time, I didn't really believe that was a thing, It's whatever. There's intuition, I believe in that kind of stuff, and a connection to the universe, and we're all connected on this grand plane of life.
Yeah.
But yeah, that word is just that, that sounds kooky.
Yeah, I knew that I might have said, well, I'm crazy.
Yeah. That's kind of what I heard. But yeah, so that brought up, my family has a history of crazy shit.
Yeah, but wait, before you tell that story, so one of the things you said right in that moment was well, I'm a bit of a skeptic. And I was like, that's totally cool. I do not need you to believe in what I believe in. I do not, if you weren't skeptical, I would be more shocked if you weren't skeptical than you being okay, I don't know if I believe all that. That's totally fine. You don't have to believe it,
Right.
But it did open up the story.
Right. Rocked my core belief system. But anyways, yeah. So it opened up the door for a story I would never, ever, ever tell on a first date. Yet here I am telling it on a podcast. So anyways, when my dad was younger, I think he was 18 or 19 at the time, and he had basically ran away from home. He was on his way to California, and my family didn't know where he was. The rest of his siblings didn't know where he was. And so my aunt asked the Ouija board, where's Bill? Which that brought up a whole other
thing. Okay, stop right there. Because in that moment, when he said, where's Bill, right, we'd been talking about his dad and my grandpa and our relationships with them and these Avett songs all night long. And I was like, wait, did you just say your dad's name is Bill? He was like, yeah. And I mean, I have goosebumps again right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, shut the fuck up. That's my grandfather's name. So these are father figures because I don't know my real dad. So my, pop, my grandpa, he was my dad for all intents and purposes. And his name is Bill. They're both William. They both went by Bill. And like, that was just another, like, literally that was the moment that I was like, if this isn't my person, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing on this date. Like, and I'd already thought I'd ruined it because I told you I was psychic. So like, part of me is like, I've ruined this. And the other part of me is like, this is my person. Like, there's no way. How in the world?
Yeah.
And then
all these dots connecting.
Yeah. And then,
so she asked, where's Bill? And it gave her a phone number on the Ouija board. And so she called the number, and it was a payphone in Colorado that he
happened to be around
next to at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
he
picked it up.
Answered the phone.
Yeah. It's like, Bill? Ellie? Yeah, so what the fuck? And I've had people just straight up tell me, my friends, I think that's probably why it came up, is because I was a skeptic, and I had friends that told me they lied to you, like that didn't happen.
Yeah, and I was over there like, that totally happened.
Yeah.
like I believe that.
And I always believed them, but then in the back of my head, those voices started to kind of come in, like, but me, I'm like, they don't,
they're not liars.
Yeah, they're not liars. Call them whatever you will, but
witches maybe, but
yeah, witches, religious fanatics,
yeah.
Depending on who you're talking about, but
not liars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I was like, I totally believe that story, and I did not say it out loud, but inside I was like, and I mean, this whole night has kind of been proof that like we're supposed to be here in this moment right now.
Yeah.
And again, like, I kept that to myself, but I was thinking, if you're not my person, I will be devastated, and have my own beliefs rocked. Like, what am I even doing here?
Yeah. So there's that. Being ourselves, first of all, and telling each other all these,
deep stuff
about ourselves, things that we'd never say on first dates, never even imagine.
Never even occur to us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I put Joel on the spot because, I knew that he had this, like, I dropped a bomb on him about my psychic ability, and at some point I was like, well, tell me something about you that you
what's the worst you said what's the worst thing you've ever done, or something? Maybe not that.
No,
you said something like that. It was like, what's something you would never tell
you'd never tell me on a first date, because I told you something I would never tell you on a first date. So I was like, I wanted to even the playing field.
Right.
So you did tell me something that wasn't, you're not a fan, that you're not like proud of, but I did not ask you what's the worst thing you've ever done. I would never ask you that.
That's what it felt like. I think that's what I heard.
Yeah. But then you felt comfortable enough to tell me. And,
I did.
And it wasn't.
Well, and it was also like, these are things that are going to come out.
Yeah.
And this feels really good.
Yeah.
So might as well get it all out in the open.
Yeah. And I think it did set us up for success that first date, because you can go in with whatever kind of plan in your mind or whatever fantasy about what you want it to look like, but it's going to usually turn out how it's supposed to.
Yeah.
And so even though I didn't plan to tell you I was psychic, and you didn't plan to tell me some of the stories you told me, like, it was exactly perfect.
Yeah. It was.
And at the end of the night, you, of course, reached for the bill. There was no even like pause or negotiation. There was no, obviously he just paid the bill like a man.
Yeah. I know it's a hotter topic nowadays than it used to be. But like, in my mind, it just, if you're a guy and you're complaining about this in the dating world, just suck it up. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
and
get over it.
Pay the goddamn bill.
I agree. I totally agree. Now, and I will say on the lady side of the table too, like, let him pay if he wants to. I think there's, this idea that, well, we need to go 50-50 to, I don't know, some version of like, I'm an independent woman. I can take care of myself. I can do this. I can do that. Of course you can, but you don't need to perform that. You don't need to, like, just let him be a gentleman if he wants to, and say thank you. Like,
right.
That's all you have to do. And he's not buying anything else. You don't owe him anything.
Right.
except for gratitude.
That's right.
And move on with your life. And if you want to go on a second date and you want to negotiate terms, you don't want to do the chivalrous traditional route, that's fine. If you have a different dating style, fine. But like on a first date, just if he's asked you out, I mean, that's just basic etiquette.
Right.
Even if it's not gendered, like whoever asked the other person out, that they're saying they're going to pay. Like that's proper etiquette.
Right.
But whatever. Everybody can do whatever they want. But this is a hill we're willing to die on far as like we think that a first date should be paid by the man.
And I will call you out for not doing it.
Yeah. Don't be a little bitch.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he escorted me to my car.
Yep. Down the Riverwalk.
Down the Riverwalk.
The canal or whatever.
Yes.
Yep.
And it was dark. And there was like a little, even though we'd had an amazing first date, I felt completely safe with you. I will say there was a little like, little radar of like, oh, this path's not that well lit. And I hope I don't end up in the river. But
I got you.
He had me.
I also didn't have a belt because I was so rushed after the being on call. I had to go home, take another shower. And I forgot my belt. So I was self-conscious about that definitely while walking. So I had to,
holding the pants up.
One hand in your arm or maybe. And then
no, I don't even think we were touching on the way back. No. You did give me a hug. You walked me all the way to my car and then you gave me a hug and you asked for my phone number.
Yeah.
And then you text me. Like by the time I got home, I think I had a text message from you.
Yeah.
Or maybe you told me. You gave me my number?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
I put my number in your phone and then
that's right.
I told you to text me.
That's right. Which I think is actually a better move than asking a girl for her phone number. Like you giving me your phone number and then leaving it and then asking me like to let you know that I got home safe. Yeah. First of all, I felt like that was a really gentlemanly thing to do too, that you actually care about my safety. And it's just a good move.
Yep.
However you want to see it. So I text him, hey, Joel, it's Nicole. I'm home safe or something like that when I got home. Mm-hmm. And then.
Yeah, I said, good. Had a great time. Our names rhyme.
Yep. And I thought that was so cute. I hadn't noticed that Joel and Nicole rhyme, and they do. And I'm just like, this kid's so cute. Like, I like this guy.
Hey, yeah. So I was smooth that night, I guess.
You were smooth that night. It was perfect for me. You were the right amount of cheesy. I like a little bit of cheese.
Yeah.
You were chivalrous, something I love. I felt like, and I think that's one of the things that set you apart is because you and I think a lot alike about dating. I don't think that everybody does, right? Like you could be compatible with someone who has a different dating style than you.
Yeah.
But one of the ways that we're compatible is we had these exact same dating desires, right? We wanted dating to look a certain way, more like a traditional courtship.
Yes.
And it did. And it made things smoother for both of us because we just were aligned on that front.
Yep, that's right.
It was a great first date.
It was. The rest is history.
Yeah. Yep. So I hope this helped you get to know us a little bit better. And if you're out there in the early days of dating and you're wondering, what it's supposed to look like, I don't think there is what it's supposed to look like. Right. But you'll know, something that we both have talked about a lot as a couple is, we heard people say all the time, like, you'll know when you find the one, or you'll know when you know, or something like that. And both of us were like, okay, like, we didn't know if that was really going to be true.
Yeah.
And today we're like, oh,
that was,
it is true. Yeah, it is true. You just know.
You just know. That's right. So, all right. Well, I love you.
I love you too, babe. And we love you guys. And we'll see you back here for another conversation.
Bye.
Bye.